Yeah. What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It is your man, Jelani JB Bodie. Once again, and this is the Wait a Minute Show, and I am here to give you your sports fix. So I hope you are ready. We got some stuff, lined up. And I'm bringing something back. Bringing something back that's been missing for a while, and you might be happy about it. But ladies and gentlemen, the Big L is it back in full effect? Yes. So I'll be handing out a Big L award. Someone will be labeled a loser. But before we get into that, man, running in the background, running in the shadows, it is Big Mo. Big Mo is in the building. What up, Big Mo?
My bracket is busted, so I ain't really got much to talk about. I'm not going to work for the rest of the week until the tournament is over.
Hey, my bracket is busted. My bracket busted too, man. It was busted from week one or game one, I should say. But I still enjoyed it. So before we get into our topics, I really want to touch base on a couple things. So like I said, I've been enjoying it, and what I've really been enjoying is the ladies. Right, the ladies have been doing their thing. When it comes to the NCAA tournament, I just watched NC State versus Texas. That was a really good game. South Carolina versus Oregon State. That was a good game. It was a bunch of good games out there, but obviously, the game that we're looking forward to that's coming up really soon, and that is LSU versus Iowa and Caitlin Clark. We're going to talk about Caitlin Clark a little bit later into the show, but I did want to touch base on something. And Mo, you tell me what you think about this, right? The comments that Angel Reese, which I think is ridiculous, that she had to come out and say this, but talking about how her and Caitlin Clark doesn't, they don't hate each other, right? And I
Right.
guess it's this thing that's out there as if they hate each other, and I'm just like, people, stop it. If you just sit there and listen. Angel was talking about this last year as far as like how she plays the game. Caitlin Clark, she plays it a certain way. Remember, last year she waved off Raven Johnson, just like, I don't believe
hmm
in you. You can't shoot the three. That's just basketball, ladies and gentlemen. And they just
I'm,
happen to be females. But at the end of the day, that is basketball. And there is a little bit about yourself that maybe it's just like, I'm just being competitive. Just because I'm being competitive doesn't mean I don't like you, right? When Caitlin
right.
broke the record for most points, one of the first people to tweet out was Angel Reese and saying, hey, making her story and playing on
Yeah.
history and everything. So stop it with
To
all this
me, it
nonsense.
ties into it kind of ties into the whole narrative that's placed around that team. You got your coach that's coming out making comments saying, "I don't mind. We don't mind being the bad guy or the villain or whatever." And then you had the little incident with the magazine that made the article about that. But I'm with you. It's sad, but it's a competitive sport, and fans want players to hate each other. They want that. I mean, it just make for a good story, make the games more exciting. You really want to see them just
Yeah,
go at each other like that. But I think real fans get it. I
real
mean,
fans.
listen, they be have that energy on the floor. We need to see that. Don't take it too far. We don't need to see no girls out there fighting, playing
Right.
basketball. But I mean, hey, it's okay. I mean, me personally, I'll just feed into it. You know, we know what's going on off the court. Y'all can think what you want to think.
Yeah, exactly. And for anybody, and you being in South Carolina,
Oh yeah,
how
we
big,
got into it with them.
yeah, and how big basketball is, there, especially women's basketball. I'm from Michigan originally, and Flint, women's basketball, girls basketball, we used to be hyped up for those games just as much as the boys.
Hmm.
So, and because it was a battle, it was, a competitive game, and that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's just being both of them being competitors. So,
Right.
yeah, I just need people to stop it. I
I
need
can't
people to
wait for
stop
that
it.
game. I can't wait for the
Oh yeah,
game though.
yeah.
We're gonna find
That's
out if
gonna be
y'all hate each other or not for real.
right. Exactly.
Somebody
Uh,
might be lying.
hey, but you know what? You know who ain't lying? Draymond Green, right?
Mm.
Draymond Green. So Mo, I'll holler at you later. Draymond Green is back in the news just recently because he just recently got ejected out of another NBA game. And this one, he got out of there really quick. I think it was in the first 3 minutes of the game. He caught two quick texts, and they said it was time to go. Now, Draymond has came out. Even his coach, Steve Kerr, has said, Draymond deserved it. Draymond said, hey, I can't, be doing that. And Steph has talked about, hey, we need him. plenty of people have talked about, they need him. Here's where I'm at with the whole Draymond situation, right? And maybe I'm a little biased because he from the home state or whatever, but it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. And the reason I say that is because I use the example of something that happened in the state of Michigan earlier in the early 2000s. Rasheed Wallace. When Rasheed got to Detroit, there was you already knew because he was catching texts from when he was in Portland, when he was in Washington, wherever Rasheed was. That's just what came with it. There's a lot of good that came with it, but that's what came with it, and you just have to accept it. Another guy, right, that was in Detroit, Chicago, San Antonio, Lakers, other spots, Dallas, was Rodman. All those antics and all that stuff that Dennis Rodman used to do just came with it. So at this point, I'm not even tripping anymore. Just go ahead and bake it into the season. Go ahead and bake it into whatever it is that Draymond's going to get an ejection. Now, of course, you're like, Draymond, we need you. And they do. And they do. But I'm gonna stop sitting here, looking surprised. He's already acknowledged it. He knows what's going on, and it's still happening. Look, you just got to bake it in because other than that, then you need to move them. You need to move them to another team. But if you're not going to move them from another team, it is what it is, bro. That's just it. That's it. Tech is probably going to be out there waiting. And we already know that Draymond has made a reputation for himself with the refs and everything. So we already know the refs are probably, maybe, they give him a leeway, but I think they do, at times just be like, you know what? Nah, we're not going to do this, no more. So just go ahead and get used to it, man. If you get ejected, he get ejected. And we playing 5-on-4 or whatever the case be is. Somebody else get in there, step up to the plate because Draymond's gonna be Draymond. He ain't gonna change that. Now, we got some changes or some possible changes that was supposed to happen with the Minnesota Timberwolves and that organization. So the Timberwolves are having probably their best season in a long time. Actually, not probably, it is, right? Last time I remember a Timberwolves team being this good, I think Latrell Sprewell and others, Sam Cassell and others was there for that. I think they made it to the Western Conference Finals. So they're in a battle for first place in the Western Conference. Minnesota is doing excellent. Now, with all that going on behind the scenes, there's a little bit of, perturbedness, if you will, or a little beef going on between what is supposed to be the old ownership and the new ownership, right? So current owner, and why am I drawing a blank right now? I want to say is Alex Rodriguez and I think Michael Lohr, if I'm saying right. They want to take over from the current owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this was supposed to happen. They started this thing, in 2021, where it's supposed to be in this transition and everything. So now there's this whole thing of, well, you know what? The team is not for sale because Alex and them, they didn't make the necessary payment that they need to make. So Alex and them is saying, nah, this dude is having seller's remorse, right? Team is doing excellent now, right? He could sell this team probably for more than what was originally agreed upon. So there's some back and forth between these two. Will the Timberwolves actually get sold? Will they actually staying pat where they're at? Now, both of them have, great points that they're putting out, or I say valid points that they're putting out. So where does this lie? The truth? Where does this truth lie between the two of them, right? So it's just hard for me to believe that someone that we're not talking about somebody that make $50,000 a year and it's just like, well, way my bank account is set up. These are millionaires, billionaires, or whatever you want to call it. That they missed the payment, that they didn't make the payment when they were supposed to. No, 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 no. I do think that there probably is some type of beef where maybe they just don't want them running the team anymore and they maybe want somebody else. So it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to sell the team anymore. The team not for sale. But I can definitely see where the seller's remorse is in there because in 2021, the Timberwolves were not anywhere near what they are today. Anthony Edwards, he had just got there. I think he was in his second year, so you didn't know what Anthony Edwards was at that point, or you didn't know what Ant Man you were getting at that point. He was the number one overall draft pick, so a lot of stuff has transpired since then. And egos get in the way. We already know that. And who got the biggest ego? Rich people, right? So hopefully they'll work this thing out, and whatever is supposed to happen happens and everything, and it doesn't affect the team, because that's the last thing you want to do is be a distraction, and then the team suffers from it, and then now Minnesota Timberwolves fans are going to probably be blaming ownership, whoever it is, on one side or the other. So I'm going to get off that. They'll figure that out, and let's move. We were just talking about Caitlin Clark before, and I told you we were going to get into it later on, and later on is here. So Caitlin Clark is in the news, and we already know the NCAA tournament, which they got a game against LSU that's coming up, but also in the news with Ice Cube, right? Cube. There was a rumor out there that was put out. It was leaked, and saying Caitlin Clark might be playing in the Big Three, this summer. And so here's what Ice Cube had to say about that when asked. This is Ice Cube, owner of the Big Three. We intended the offer to remain private while Caitlin Clark plays for the championship, but I won't deny what's now already out there. That is Ice Cube, owner of the Big Three. That is what he said. So he basically confirmed it. Now the number is 5 million that people put out there. I don't know the validity or the truth, because Cube, as far as I know, maybe Mo, if you heard something, let me know. But I haven't heard the number specifically. But the number is 5 million. So
He
what you
confirmed that
watch,
it was 5 million.
5 million, yeah. So what you watch, Caitlin Clark in the Big Three, yes, I obviously would, definitely. I would love if maybe some other WNBA players playing there. We probably won't ever get the NBA. The Cube has tried that, but sticking on Caitlin, it'll be interesting. It's all about expanding her brand, but also expanding the footprint of women's basketball. You go out there and you see that, you see it, and we'll see how she measures up. Right, she's going to be going against men. That's a different challenge in itself. And if she does well, hey, like I said, the floodgates open. So I'm all for it. Women can play with guys. The way the Big Three is set up, it's not set up the same way as a 5-on-5 basketball game. So yeah, she could go out there and she can excel, in that avenue. So I'm really interested though, because remember, Q had this thing with the NBA, and he was talking about, like, I guess he was wanting to work with the NBA, but the NBA kind of just didn't want to, I guess, for lack of a better term, get in bed with the Big Three. And how would the NBA look at this, because they do own the WNBA when it comes to it. So that is something that I'm going to be interested in seeing and watching as it plays out. But yeah, Clayton, why am I want to keep saying Clayton? But Caitlin Clark, definitely in the Big Three. Put some other players in there. Let's see what happens. I'm already on record saying women are better shooters than men. So you can't not go wrong. Add some other pieces in there. Mo, if you got something to say on that, definitely chime in. Mute Mo.
Oh, I would love to see it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at Ice Cube for, reaching out, extending it all for him and everybody else behind the Big Three. I don't see it happening, but man, imagine having, because she's like the biggest name in basketball right now. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And that's saying a lot. And hopefully it'll open doors for other players to decide. You know what? I mean, listen, especially women players, because I don't know the type of contracts that they get, but I do feel like 5 million is a like he said himself, it's a generous offer, right?
It's
So
very generous.
it's
I
it's a
don't. I
generous
don't.
offer for a women's basketball player,
Yeah, I
in
think. I
comparison
think
to.
maybe the highest person I know, Diana Taurasi, at one point. I think she might have been making a little bit over 1 million.
Mhm.
Brittany Griner might be there as well. I would think Asia Wilson. as well, probably maybe close to that. But yeah, it's no one's at the 5 mil.
Yeah,
So, and I don't know if that's just for one year or what, but regardless, 5 mil is 5 mil.
five.
If
Listen,
you can get it, five is five.
I didn't get the breakdown of the contracts. I do know this. You're talking about 10 weeks, right?
Yeah,
They play once a week, is it? And the 10
yeah.
weeks, and that's if you make the playoffs, right? If you're trying to win a championship. So man, come on, man. That's a nice
But
little lick. She may be able to do that and also play WNBA ball as
that's what
well.
I was just about to say is will they let her do both of that? Q said he don't mind. He's just like, yeah, she can go and play, WNBA
Yeah.
games and all that stuff. I'm not trying to keep her, from that, and just play the big three. So yeah, it's
I
gonna
think the
be
only thing it would impact, I'll say this. I think the only thing that it could impact is probably other endorsements that may come with her being a WNBA player. But
got you.
hey, that ain't a bad deal. Ain't a bad
Hey,
deal. Think about it, Caitlin. Think
think
about
about
it.
it. And deals, somebody else getting a deal. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Mo's gonna be back right after I say this. But the San Francisco 49ers, right? Brock Purdy, that time is coming. The time that we've been, anticipating, it's getting closer. And so Brock, being the seventh round draft pick, obviously there ain't no fifth year option and all that stuff that comes with it. You got to pay me sooner than later, and sooner is arrived, right? So Brock, after this next year, he'll be eligible to sign an extension or sign a new deal. And highest paid player in the NFL, is that
Mr.
possible?
Relevant.
Is that possible for Brock Purdy? Look, I'm not going to knock Brock. Get your money because here's how I look at it. They've been making a killing over the first 3 years with you on that rookie deal, right? Anybody else that has the production or has the results of what Brock Purdy has done over his what's this first 2 years? This is his second. This was his second year.
Right.
Anybody that have that is definitely going to be commanding money. We've seen other guys. We've seen Jalen Hurts. He went to the Super Bowl right before his deal was his up. We've seen Joe Flacco be in the last year of his deal, and make a run and everything. So yeah, obviously, Brock is going to be looking, but the highest pay, I don't know about that, Mo. The highest pay, if he gets it, I'm happy for him. I don't know if they're gonna give it to him. And simply for you want to keep that team intact. If you start getting to where you got to give Brock all the money, then that means that's at the expense of some other pieces around him or on the other side.
Right. You got to have that conversation because right now you're already looking at the situation with Brandon Ayuk, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he's made it very clear that he want to get paid.
paid.
So you, if you do this, then I don't know how you structure his deal. Maybe give him something on the back end of his deal. That way you can keep everything going for now. It'll be considered an all-in season because
Mm-hmm.
you're probably you're gonna start losing pieces. You just brought in some new pieces, but how is that going to shift the market? If you make Brock Purdy the highest paid player in the NFL, it's going to be a lot of quarterbacks with their hand out. It's going to
Oh,
be a
well,
lot
they
of them with their hand out.
they already gonna have their hand out, but yeah, definitely.
You're going to
Uh,
shake it up.
yeah, but and then here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. We're not that far removed from when the 49ers paid Jimmy G and they
Right.
gave him all that money and everybody was just
Mm-hmm.
going crazy. But, Pat
Still
came
cashing them
along.
checks.
Yeah, Lamar came along, Jalen came along,
Mm-hmm.
uh
Josh
Joe,
Allen.
yeah, Josh, all of them, they're Herbert, all of them boys. So yeah, they're resetting the market, and yeah, he's gonna if he gets back to the Super Bowl again, you got to give him what he wants. You got to
Yeah.
give him what he wants. He got the leverage because we just said it. You paid Jimmy, it didn't work out. You drafted Trey, it didn't work out. You brought
Mm-hmm.
in other guys, it didn't work out. You get him, and this happens by pure luck. Let's just be honest. It happened by pure luck that he was the starter, and then you struck gold. No pun intended. But yeah, it was
Right.
yeah. He got the leverage, and it's just like you don't have to give him the money. But you know what? I don't think Brock is. Now his agent is probably like, heck yeah, because I ain't getting nothing off your first deal. So you
Of
probably like,
course,
yeah,
of
let's
course.
do this. But I don't
I
know if
don't
Brock
think
is really gonna do that.
I don't think you have to necessarily get back to the Super Bowl to get that kind of contract. Conference finals, yeah.
Yeah,
But we as an organization, I'm not gonna say we, the 49ers as an organization, we you don't need to be hemorrhaging money. You just
right.
mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. You took hits on both of those. Jimmy, not so much, but you took hits. Let's be
Right.
honest. And you got a lot of great players on your roster, and you got to figure out how to pay them, right?
Yeah.
I think you kind
Yeah.
of offloaded just about everything you can offload right now with the understanding that we're going to have to pay Brock something. And highest paid NFL player,
Mhm.
hey man, listen, I'm happy for the kid if he get it, but I don't see it happening.
York already said he already said like already know I got to come out the pocket for Brock. So maybe it's a done deal. Like have my money waiting on me next year.
Who's the highest paid player right now? And
Uh, I want to say Lamar.
what's the number? I can't remember the number.
Oh, what was Lamar? Two. Well, I got 2 or 260, something in there,
Yeah, we're gonna
somewhere
have to
around there.
look that up. We're gonna have to look it
Yeah,
up. But yeah, yeah. Hey man, we'll see. But
yeah.
a lot of owners gonna be mad about that one.
Yep. You're right about that. Uh, Speaking of mad, why you say that? So now you got me triggered a little bit. And I was talking about this before, and I'm mad. I'm mad because you know I gotta point out something. I don't like pointing this out, but I got a commitment to the world on this. And I talked about it earlier that the Big L Award was going to be back. So the Big Loser Award, ladies and gentlemen, is here, and I'm going to tell you who it is. But first, our new intro. Everybody, here's the Big L Award. Loser. So I'm gonna get right to it. Right, we were talking at the beginning. We were talking about college sports and a great game that we had just recently was NC State versus Texas. But before the game, ladies and gentlemen, someone noticed something, and they said something ain't adding up. Something I'm looking both ways, and they looking at the 3 point line, and someone measures the 3 point line, and they find out that that side ain't the same as that side. Come on, man. Who's doing the tape job in Portland for the 3 point lines? And they said it's been like that for like 5 games, man. You out there, you got distracted. What? Your lady called you or something like that while you was taping off the 3 point line. What was going on that you just said? Because you got a number, you know what the distance is for the ladies, and then after that, did you just look at it and say, yeah, that look about right? You ain't even tape it off yourself. You ain't measure it yourself. Pull out the tape measure. Come on, man. Come on. So I don't know who it is, and that's probably good that I don't, but I'm just gonna call them the tape measuring group, the tape measuring people who covers the court for women's basketball in the NCAA for not making both sides the same equal distance for the 3 point line. You got to take the big L. Loser. Sorry. I'm sorry, Mo. I had to do it. I had to do it. It is what it is, man. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on those notifications. Make sure you're following us here on the Wait a Minute Show. We'll come back with even more content each and every week. Hopefully, I don't have to give a big L out each week because I don't like calling people a loser, but sometimes I just got to. But other than that, I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be good. Peace.